Do you ever feel like your gut has a mind of its own? Unexplained gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and abdominal pain can be really frustrating. And in today's video, we're going to talk about everything there is to know about irritable bowel syndrome or IBS. Firstly, what is IBS? And how do you diagnose that you're someone who's suffering from IBS? Well, research hasn't been able to explain the exact mechanism of why IBS happens, which is why it's also called as an idiopathic disease. But we also know that this happens because you consume foods that can trigger certain mechanisms inside of your gut, leading to various symptoms like pain, diarrhea, constipation, gas, bloating, and even abdominal distension. The most important cause of IBS or flares caused by IBS triggers is poor nutrition and lifestyle choices. These directly impact your gut health and cause chronic or long-term inflammation. In 2015, IBS affected up to 20% of the world's population, but its prevalence has increased even further over the course of the next 10 years. So naturally, the best way forward to prevent these flares is to eliminate these foods from your diet. Now, IBS is also common in gym enthusiasts because of following a high protein diet, which doesn't necessarily cause IBS, but it definitely aggravates the symptoms of someone already suffering from IBS. There are also other foods like dairy or caffeine which may trigger IBS even further but may not be the main cause of IBS itself. This happens because IBS contributes to hypersensitivity. This happens when your gut lining and the nervous system that supplies it becomes sensitive and easily triggered by surrounding stimuli. So how can you fix IBS? What is the exact cure of treating IBS? Well, just like any other metabolic disorder, the best way forward to treat IBS is by following good nutrition and lifestyle choices. Unlike other diseases, we do not have any medications that control the symptom of IBS. Very few medications like laxatives and bulk forming agents might ease the process of passage of stools, but they do not do anything for IBS itself. However, the solution for treating this disease is really easy. The millions of people suffering from IBS do not understand how easy it actually is to cure IBS. So what are the various dietary guidelines that you should be following to improve the symptoms of your IBS? Well, number one, you should start by following something called as an elimination diet. Now this simply means that you should eliminate all those foods that can trigger or aggravate the symptoms of your IBS. Foods that generally come into these categories are dairy foods for those people who are lactose intolerant, for people, especially Americans, who do not tolerate spice well, or it can also be a combination of various spices put together that can increase and aggravate the symptoms of your IBS. Apart from that, highly processed food, greasy food, and foods rich in caffeine can also lead to an increased incidence of your IBS flares. Now, while foods rich in protein or caffeine do not directly cause IBS, someone suffering from IBS may definitely see an increased reaction to consuming these foods. IBS can also happen when you take too much mental stress. The nervous system also supplies your gut lining through a channel of nerves called as the enteric nervous system, which is also directly connected to your central nervous system. A lot of evidence has clearly suggested that your gut health and your mental health are directly related to each other. Someone suffering from poor gut health may also end up having poor mental health, and someone suffering from poor mental health can also end up having poor gut health. Any disruption in the gut-brain axis of your body can lead to an increased symptoms of IBS and hypersensitivity. The various mechanisms of IBS that lead to increased symptoms are as follows. Number one is hypersensitivity and inflammation, which lead to an increased irritation and can easily irritate the gut lining. Another mechanism is the leakage of water and electrolytes from your gut lining on consumption of foods that may act like toxins, thus leading to diarrhea. Apart from that, poor nutritional choices can also reduce the tone of your gastrointestinal muscles and sphincters, which lead to constipation and gastroesophageal refluxes. People may also rarely face symptoms like nausea, dizziness, headache, and even muscle pain when suffering from IBS. A few symptoms that people suffering from IBS don't have is increased bleeding with the passage of stools or formation of tumors or masses underneath your abdomen. If you're someone who's suffering from any of these symptoms, it's probably not IBS and it's best to consult a doctor. Whenever I get any clients that suffer from IBS or any sort of gastrointestinal disturbances, I immediately put them on a diet called as a low FODMAP diet in combination with an elimination diet. FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. These are types of carbohydrates that can get easily fermented inside of your gut, leading to an increased production of gas, which causes bloating, irritation, diarrhea, or even constipation. Avoiding highly processed foods, high FODMAP foods, and making selections where you consume foods that are lower in the FODMAP scale as compared to those foods that are higher in the FODMAP scale can really help you improve the symptoms of your IBS. Making small changes like replacing apple with oranges for consumption of fruits can also reduce the symptoms of your IBS. To understand which foods come in low FODMAP or which foods come in high FODMAP, you can screenshot this chart right here to understand exactly which foods are suitable for you. Apart from that, avoiding dairy-based foods like milk and paneer is also a good option. These foods are rich in lactose, and you never know how adulterated this milk may be, which can further aggravate the symptoms of your disease. For example, whenever you're consuming a whey protein supplement, always try to go for a supplement that is a whey protein isolate, because it has almost negligible lactose content as compared to a whey protein concentrate, since it has a higher lactose content, which can cause indigestion and increase the symptoms of your IBS. Apart from this, you should also start following an elimination diet. Let's assume that you've started following a low FODMAP diet. There may still be some foods that you're not able to tolerate properly. Foods like wheat, which are rich in gluten, or even whole eggs, might be a little harder to digest than normal. So it's best for you to reduce the quantity or completely eliminate these foods depending upon how aggravated the symptoms of your disease are. You should also avoid foods that are rich in anti-nutrients because they steal away important minerals from your diet, and try and consume foods that are rich in antioxidants and can reduce the reactive oxygen stress inside of your body. Anti-nutrient rich foods like soy, nuts, dal can really cause indigestion and can severely trigger the symptoms of your IBS. It's best that you avoid these foods. And let's say you're consuming dals like legumes or pulses. What you can do is increase the concentration of water in your dal so that you reduce the anti-nutrient content of your dal. You can also boil and cook these foods to decrease the anti-nutrient intake. But again, foods like nuts and soy are two main foods that can really trigger the symptoms of your IBS and are best avoided. Apart from that, you should also incorporate good exercise regimens into your lifestyle. This will not just help you reduce the stress levels but can also help you improve your digestion and thus reduce the symptoms of your IBS. For athletes who are already pretty hyperactive but still suffer from IBS, you might not want to reduce your exercise duration and activity levels throughout the day, because a dip in your activity levels may actually lead to an increased sensitivity to foods that can trigger your IBS. IBS is a really common problem, and unfortunately the biggest problem that we face when trying to cure IBS is addiction of foods that are tasty and can easily satisfy our taste buds. You should stay away from foods that are rich in sweeteners, preservatives, anti-caking agents, and other artificial compounds that are found in packaged and processed foods. You should start treating food as nutrition that you put inside of your body rather than food that you eat for taste and to satisfy your cravings. The sooner you lose your relationship with food and its taste, the better it is for your IBS and to improve longevity and performance. If you're someone suffering from IBS and you need professional help, then you can join my fitness coaching program by visiting harshkanwar.com/coaching, and you can scroll all the way down on the website to book a call with me so that I can understand what your current condition is and then get you onboarded onto my fitness program, which has shown proven results not just within months but within weeks with regards to improving the symptoms of IBS. That's all for this video. If you guys liked it, then subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.